Author presents Back and Forth with NEVS and Sven, a program of writing rants and rebuttals.
Apple. Love them or hate them, but they are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, let's face it, their e-commerce model with iTunes is a powerhouse for music. When it comes to EPUB, they're not so big, nowhere near as Amazon, but they are still a force to be reckoned with, so I wouldn't ignore them. I had 2 jobs where I dealt with Apple directly to become a content provider. And trust me, they have very stringent rules, and it made our engineers crazy trying to figure out the perfect ways to upload packets efficiently and quickly to meet Apple's standards. So from a provider standpoint, it is very difficult, but all of that persnickety craziness on their end means that the ecosystem for the consumer is very smooth and seamless and consistent, and that's very important. So honestly, I understand where they're coming from, and I understand why they make it so difficult, especially for content providers, because again, they're thinking about the user, they're thinking about the consumer, they're thinking about you. So I actually agree with how difficult they are to deal with, because again, they want a perfect product on the back end. And that ecosystem is much more important to you, the consumer, because there's far more of you than content providers. So I get it. Part of why software works so well in the Apple ecosystem is because it's a walled garden or a closed system. That means if you buy peripherals or software or anything to attach to Apple devices, it's going to work without bugs. You're not going to have that problem. Well, at least until recently, that was how it worked. But that's the idea in theory behind the whole Apple universe. All that said, as an indie publisher, Apple has made a lot of strides to make their user interface much more easy to deal with and upload content from a publisher standpoint. In fact, now they have live human beings for customer support, fewer interface screens for data entry, and in all honesty, if you want to skip aggregators and deal with Apple yourself and become an approved publisher, I don't think there's ever been a better time than right now, so you might want to give it a shot.
Apple is a pain in the ass. Yeah, Sven worked with them, and I work with them too. They're the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. They don't need you, you need them. So when it comes to working out a problem, they don't give a damn. Figure it out, or you're out. Know what I'm saying? As a publisher, I have to say, Apple's interface is lousy and without feedback. Their customer support didn't exist until 2016, and they were late to the game on all the publishing fronts. Man, I'll never get my life back while I was trying to second guess why they didn't like something. I once uploaded a book, and the book file was rejected. But I was not given a reason as to why. So I double-checked that everything in my book complied to their rules. I uploaded again. And again. And finally, after wasting 4 hours, I gave up and filled out a ticket for customer support. 3 days later, I get a response that my language at the end of the book, also available on Amazon, had to go. Seriously? I mean, once a consumer reaches that page, they've already bought the book from iTunes. You made your money, Apple. Whatever. Since I did not create the EPUB file myself, I had to contact the vendor who made it for me and have them alter the file. 4 days later, after my first attempt, I tried again, and it was rejected again. So I had to go through the myriad of metadata screens to find my one mistake and try again. It was horrible. So yeah. Has Apple improved its upload experience and allowing more indie publishers to sign on? Sure they have. Now you get a human in customer service, and the data entry screens have been cut in half. But it's still a pain in the ass. There's got to be a better way.
Thank you, NEVS, for dragging us through your narcissistic venting. I'm glad you could waste our time.
Hey, I've been waiting years to spout this out to anyone who will listen. So, how about it? What do you got to bitch about? We want to know.